I'd like to ask you is, I read in your book, you mentioned this 3 characteristics of a great team,
Yes.
right? And you speak of, maybe I'll let you speak about that. But what I'd like to understand is, specifically with scaling a company, what do you think is like key, one of the key ones of these 3, and what can we do to overcome them?
Well, the 3 characteristics of great teams is what Professor Nonaka and Takichi found in companies like Toyota and Honda. They all have transcendent goals, big goals. Like the Prius team, their goal was to green the planet. We're going to get twice the gas mileage. We're going to deliver the car in half the time. They were cross-functional teams working together, so they gained mastery by learning together how to build a new product. And these kinds of things are critical. And it was a pull system. They are the ones that chose the work. They decided how to do the work. And the management backed off. They were more like investors. You know, they said, okay, here's the resources you need. Here's the goal and the mission. You figure it out. And if you need things, come to us as investors in your effort. We'll help when we can. So those 3 things are critical. And we talked a lot about the agile mindset. From the leadership point of view, if the leadership does not have that mentality of empowering teams, getting them to self-organize and self-manage, then it'll be very hard for you to get good results. If you don't have prioritization, aggressive goals, clear goals that motivate teams, you're not going to get good results. If you can't break down specialist silos, if you can't get people collaborating and working together, then you won't get good results. And the whole issue about scaling, Scrum done well works as well with 100 teams as it does with 1 team, because it's fractal in nature. It's the same thing. The problem is that if you have 1 team that's not working and then you generate 100 that aren't working, it's a bigger headache.
And that brings me to the next question is, this Scrum done right and the Scrum done wrong. How can we find out, how can we self-test whether what we're doing is right or is it wrong? And if we notice that it's wrong, how can we self-correct?
Okay, well, the Scrum Guide, which is a short document, only about 15 pages, describes the essence of Scrum, what you need to make it work. And the key thing that people have the most trouble with is the second principle in the Agile Manifesto: working product at the end of a short iteration. There's 1,000 ways you can screw that up. And there's also many ways you can do it right. But if you don't have that, then you're going to have to systematically work back and figure out what's the root cause of the problem. What is it that's preventing this team from delivering?
All right, so just, many of the people here are really, really keen on doing Agile, doing Scrum, and I'm sure they're going to be buying the book. I think I just saw somebody getting your autograph as well. So they're going to get there and they're going to be reading the book. But it would be great if you could give this one thing that people going back should be implementing just to kickstart the process. So I go back to my office tomorrow, and what is the one thing that I can do to get the process going?
Well, the first thing that I mentioned today is, do you have a team? Do you have a small team? You need to have a small team. It needs to be a stable team. If they're changing all the time, you can't get this working. So a small, stable team. Do they have clear priorities? A clear list in priority order of things that they're to do that the product owner, who's a member of the team, creates. If you don't have that, you're going to have trouble. You then need to be able to deliver the top of that product owner's backlog at the end of a short iteration. They average about 2 weeks today. If you can't do that, that's a problem. And then finally, you need to be able to change the organization so that it facilitates the work of the teams. And that is a management problem. And if they don't respond to that in a good way, that's going to block the Scrum.
Right. I know you are in a hurry and you have to catch a plane, so I'd really like to say thank you very, very much for taking the time for this, and we hope to see you soon again at ScaleUP.
Great.
Thank you.